What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the Scevoli Tano show, guys. I know, I'm back. It's okay. I understand. You go home at night, you think of me because I'm back. You know, I'm always back here on the Scevoli Tano show because it's my show. It has my last name in it, and of course, my favorite character, Ahsoka Tano. You know, I have a very special guest with me today on the Scevoli Tonight show. It is our first female Star Wars fan on this show. I realized that when I had her on, I was like, I think I'm thinking to myself, right? I think it's our first female. But I couldn't get Emily Swallow on the show. I'm sorry, guys. We have to deal with her now. I understand the hatred. I understand. But we have the Madilorian. Did I say that right?
Yeah, Madilorian, however you want to say it.
You know, we have that. We have a better Mandalorian because she's name brand. It's name brand, not like the Iron Man or something like that. We have the Madilorian on this show, guys. Not Pedro Pascal, not Pedro Pascal's daddy or wife, nothing. We have her. We got her. But before we start this amazing Tonight show, please subscribe down below to the YouTube channel, The Scevoli Tano Show, for more me. Not her. She won't be here all day. I'll be here. I'll be in your faces all day, people. I will. Maddie, how are you?
Good. I'm excited to be on, honestly. Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
This will be fun. You might not want to come back after this, but we'll have fun. We'll have great fun. So before the show, we were talking about fandoms and toxicity. Now, I had, I don't know if you know, Brandalorian. I don't know if you're familiar with that. Shout out to him. He's been on the show. His episode will be out shortly. We talked about toxic fandoms, Star Wars fans. Have you ever encountered any of them, like online or even in person? You went to a con, you didn't like a bad I could say, I don't want to like put it out there, but like a bad experience, I could say that's better for me to say. Did you ever have a bad experience with like Star Wars fandom, a Star Wars fan, or just in general into the fandom?
Yeah, so I've never been to a convention, like a Lego convention or a Star Wars like general convention or anything like that. So I can't speak of like in person, but definitely on the internet. I think also being like a woman in the Lego and the Star Wars collecting fandoms puts me in like a really unique position where I have a lot of like weird people that feel overly comfortable saying like weird stuff to me. But recently I had a video kind of like blow up a little bit that was about like the new Star Wars Lego sets, and I like had talked about something that I was confused about, but like I guess they had done this same concept before, but I just wasn't aware. And so I just got all these comments that were like, bro just discovered Lego Star Wars, blah 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 blah, and it was just like so like demeaning in all my comments and like multiple videos that I got to the point where I had to like make a video and be like, okay, I get that like I didn't know this or something, like you could have just been like, hey, by the way, they did this before, like if you were confused, and not like beat my ass in the comments. So yeah, can I curse?
Yes, you can, of course, girl. Please, I curse all the day.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Sorry, but yeah.
And this show is like not. It just goes. Whatever you say goes.
Yeah, that was like a recent, I feel like, bad interaction I had with some like Star Wars fans.
I could say like with Star Wars fans, it's like. It is like I'm surprised I haven't got hatred, but I don't like. I'm not like doing reels of me. I'm not doing like reels. Oh, like what you do, Maddie. Mm-hmm. I'm not doing that. Thank God. Not yet, anyway. But I have trouble with Star Wars with like pronouncing the names of the planets.
Oh.
Like I cannot pronounce any names. I cannot even pronounce people's names in Star Wars. You cannot. Like some people can, and I give it to them. Some people can pronounce every name. Every planet, you got it, you name it, they can name it. I cannot do that.
I've had a hard time with trying to remember things in Star Wars. So like I know what everything is, you know, and I'm like interested, but sometimes like the specific name of a character or of like the planet something happened on or something like that people kind of like almost like gatekeep. Is like, oh my gosh, you don't know where this happened in this movie. And I'm like, bro, relax. There are some things that like I'll just forget. And I feel like a year ago, I became really self-conscious about it. And I like was on like Wikipedia, and like every time I was about to say something, I had to like search it up and be like, am I saying the right context of this? Because if I'd say the wrong character, like the wrong planet, like you're out.
Yeah, and they will, and fans will go into the video and look at every word you said.
Yeah.
If that word is correct. Like I think I said on one of the recent Bad Batch episodes, Ryloth. Like it was they had to go to the planet,
Mhm.
meeting up with Crosshair and Omega, and I said Dathomir by accident because I'm like, it's a red planet. I think it's Dathomir, like a moon of or next to Dathomir. And I was so scared of saying that because after 3 a.m., you're exhausted at that time.
Yeah.
I was like, I slept and then I woke up. I was like, they weren't going to Dathomir or by Dathomir. They were going to Ryloth. And I was like, I hope no one caught that, but probably watching this, someone will go in that video, the reaction, and catch it. So,
yeah. I recently, on that same videos I was talking about, it was the 25th anniversary of Lego Star Wars, right? But I kept saying 21st because my brain, for some reason, like the number 21st, I kept saying it over and over. And don't worry, I was made so aware that I said 21st instead of 25th. Like, okay, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I apologize. And even in the caption, I think I had something about 25th. Like, I knew what the right thing was. I just was saying the word 21st. But yeah, no, I got told.
yeah, like they will tell you, Star Wars fans.
Yeah.
It's really bad, but I don't really care like that much for people's like I read the comments, don't get me wrong. I have I have comments under my videos and I just read them and I just like it. Like if you have something good to say, I love it because it's thank you for that, you know. But then like if you like it, I'm fine with that too. Like I'll just like your message that you wrote, you know. But I don't really respond, especially like the reels I've been posting, like with Luke Skywalker, or people have such opinions about like, oh, we wanted this Luke, we wanted that Luke, we wanted this Kylo Ren, we wanted this Rey. You know, I'm just here just to post my reels and get done with homework. You know,
honestly, like if you're commenting on my video, that's fine because I'm getting more comments. So thank you so much. But the other thing is that like if you cared enough to watch my video, think about what I said, and then also comment, that's great. You know what I'm saying? So like,
yeah, you like the video too. Like that gives me a like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like click the 3 dots at the bottom. No, but honestly, like that's perfectly fine if somebody like wanted to nitpick what I was saying enough because it means that they actually watched my whole video and like had to listen hard enough to know I was saying something wrong. Also, that's another thing that's kind of interesting that I've seen in content creation, just like random tangent, but people will intentionally say or insert one wrong thing in their video or something that's slightly messed up because people will notice it more and they'll watch the video like more times, so you'll get like more views. If you like say one thing wrong or if you like hold something up and like something's messed up on it or something like that, people will like notice wrong things in videos and that gives you like more views than if it was like perfect.
Yeah, like if you mess up, like my videos, if you ever watch my videos, like I have an editor that does it. Shout out to Jeff, he's amazing. Like he makes me look like a fool. Like he makes me look like a dumbass. But I love it because it's natural. It's not like I'm doing it for the camera, the lens. I'm doing it because that's who I am. Like I'm this on and off camera. Like if you meet up with me and like if we go to New York City, I'm the same person that you'll get in person.
Yeah.
You know, you're not gonna get me like this standing here like just looking at you like that in the corner. You know, that's not me. I'm the same person in and out. So I like when he makes me look like an ass, but I love it. And you know, it is what it is at that point.
Yeah, that's fine.
Now, Maddie, my next question to you is, being a female content creator, what does that entitle for you? Like being, what do you want to get out of that for all the females watching out here? I know this could be the last question of the show, but I want to ask it now. For all the females watching, for all the female content creators, what makes you different from all of them?
That's
a good question. Ooh, I chilled with that one.
I definitely think that just like being like a girl that likes maybe a hobby that people don't think is like as girly or whatever the case may be, which is like kind of BS. I definitely think that like hopefully my videos can have other people realize that like they really like Lego or Star Wars or something like that, and that they also can have that as a hobby and that it's normal and it's cool. Because like I was in a sorority and like all these things, and like everyone knew I love Star Wars and I collected Lego sets. Like nobody was like, oh my god, she's so weird, or she has like nerdy hobbies or something like that. So like you can really do whatever you want, and if it makes you really happy, and I'm also happy that like Lego has become more of like a universal thing now, that it's not just like a kid's toy or it's like nerdy, like it's like, oh, people have like the Lego flowers and this and that. So it's kind of become like more of a widespread hobby, which is really cool. And then in general, I think that like the female content creator space is a little bit not sparse, but like it was sparse, and I feel like there's been so many more like girls that have come into it and are making really, really good videos. So I'm just happy to be, I feel like, in good company and have like a lot of connections that I can make that are other people that are similar to me, or I feel like I relate to, that make videos about a topic that I'm really interested in. What makes me different? I don't know. I think maybe that there's not a ton of people that are women in like Lego and Star Wars together. Like there are a good amount of us, but like Lego and Star Wars is way more majority, I feel like, men. So I feel like that's what maybe makes me a little bit different, is that I'm not just like Star Wars. I don't really do cosplay, any of that. It's like I'm kind of just like honed in on like giving information about Star Wars related stuff and like collecting and like Lego related stuff.
Now, would you do cosplay? And who would you cosplay as?
That's a good question. Okay, so for Halloween this year, okay, I take Halloween as like an excuse for me to do like a full cosplay vibe and then be like, oh, my Halloween costume. But I think obviously cosplay is like really cool. And there's some crazy costumes. One cosplay, this is not Star Wars related, that I would love to do would be Viper from Valorant, because I love the video game Valorant, and her character is just really, really cool. And I've been wanting to do that for Halloween for years, but I haven't actually like put it together. So that would be like a non-Star Wars cosplay that I think would be really sick. And then I did a Darth Rey Halloween costume this past year, which I thought it was so fun. And I have a lightsaber and stuff like that. So it was just like a really good put together costume in my opinion. And I figured out a really good way to like do like the Kylo Ren scar on Rey. So it was kind of like a cool thing. But yeah, I don't know if I were to do like a full proper cosplay. I don't exactly know who I would be. I'm trying to think. That's a really good question. Honestly,
I know I try on this show, Maddie. I tried it.
Honestly, Kylo Ren or Vader. Like I just like maybe like me, like I'm like a yassified version of Kylo Ren or Vader. But yeah, those are like two of my favorite characters. Or even get niche, like one of the Knights of Ren, do like a really sick Knights of Ren cosplay. But those are like some of my favorite.
Now, would you do just spitballing? Would you do half masked Kylo, half masked Vader, and like do a half a body?
That'd be so cool. Honestly, I love a good skirt. So like any of these, I would have to like make it a little like girly and have a skirt and platform boots. But I could do any of them.
Oh, I might have to do it with you. Oh, I have to join with you on that, Maddie. But that's good. I like how you thought like are gonna think about it now. Like I got you thinking. You're welcome, Maddie.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, I give the props. I give props. You know. My next question, Maddie. So you said you're into Legos.
Mm-hmm.
What is your favorite Lego set that you have in your house, or that is coming out now? Because there's a lot of coming out for the Phantom Menace, the 25th anniversary. It's not the 21st, Maddie. Okay.
Thank God. Yeah. Don't worry.
They just announced Grogu and Carolyn Beck, the escape from the Mandalorian. Mm-hmm. But what is your favorite Lego set that you have or you wish that you had in your room or your house?
Mm-hmm. So my favorite one that I have that's not built, that I've been saying I'm going to build it forever and I just have it in the box, is the Mos Eisley Cantina. I just love all the figures. They're like super unique, and it's like a lot of characters that were only in the Cantina scene that like Lego never made again as figures. So that's really sick. Then in the new stuff that's coming out, they made a new mid-scale Millennium Falcon that's like a display scale, and I really enjoy that scale for display because I think it looks very like adult. Like, I think it looks like an elevated version of like a play scale ship. So I really want to get that one. Is it like wildly overpriced? Yes, for what
Some
it is.
Legos are.
Like
Some Legos,
all
like
of
this
them.
Lego right here, was like $50 or
Yeah.
$60 or $80. Like what
That's like,
the
I
hell?
think that one's like 60. Yeah, it's kind of crazy, but this Millennium Falcon, no offense, but it has no minifigures. It's just a display scale, and it's almost like I think $80 or $90, which is a little bit wild to me. Um, Besides that, I really want that one. Honestly, I think it's great. And then my favorite, maybe like two of my favorite like ones that I have already built. It's so hard because there's so many good ones. Ships. Let's see. The Inquisitor Scythe from the Obi-Wan show, that like all black ship. I love I love anything Sith, and especially any of the very sleek all black ships. They've done really cool concepts in the shows with that, so I love that. I have Kylo Ren's shuttle. I love that one. Um, and then honestly, the new Mandalorian N1 Starfighter. That's a really cool one too.
I'm a little scared now. You're a Sith and you're in the dark room. I'm a little scared now, Maddie.
I definitely am a Sith. I hate to say it to everybody, but like I'm on the dark side.
Now, with the dark side, are your favorite characters on the dark side?
100%. Yeah.
Who are your favorite? Now, who are your top three favorite Star Wars characters and why?
Okay. Number one, Vader. Not even like Anakin, kind of, but like more so Vader. I just think like such an iconic character, iconic costume design, and like honestly, such a touching story in my opinion. Like every time I see any of the original movies where like you see like the reuniting and stuff of like Luke and Vader, like I literally cry like every single time. So I just love that character. And then two, Kylo Ren. I think Kylo Ren is just cool. Adam Driver is really cool, but I think that just a cool character and also a cool character design. And I like the way the story was. It kind of left you like almost longing that they would like be together or something like that. And I really like that. And then the third one is hard. I have a three-way tie for the third one. So this is six of my favorite characters, but actually it's gonna turn into maybe 12, because the last one is all the Knights of Ren as one character. So I'm taking this question too far, but I love the Knights of Ren. So in third place, it's the Knights of Ren, just all of them together, because they don't really have any substance besides being really cool.
Yeah.
They don't talk. And then Cassian Andor, and then Mandalorian.
Oh wow.
Those are my last three, because I feel like those are maybe a little bit. The two of them are obviously shows, so they're not movie characters. But I love the Mandalorian in the first two seasons, and then I loved Andor. I thought he was so cool in the show, especially. I think like the elaboration of his character was really great. And then the Knights of Ren are just really cool looking, and they're like, I feel like under like developed as characters, and we should see more.
They are. They're cool characters too. They are cool characters.
Yeah. So sorry I ran with that question.
No, you took that question to the extreme, Maddie. You took that up. Now you said you like Cassian Andor and you like the Endor series, but not a lot of people liked it from what I have on my show and what I've seen. What did you like about that Endor show? And you're probably excited for season 2, of course. But what made you really? Because there was no Jedi, there was no Sith. There was just like, to me, it was like a James Bond thriller. You know, you watch Cassian Andor go through these towns, go through these planets, like trying to join the rebellion, like his join to the rebellion, I can say.
Yeah.
What was your favorite part of that whole series, and what do you hope that comes in season 2?
So I actually will say that I think it might be my favorite show right now. Like, if we're putting the whole Mandalorian series versus Andor, I think that Andor was better as a whole series, but I haven't seen obviously season 2, so I can't speak on that. I just think that the recent seasons of The Mandalorian kind of went
downgraded.
They went crazy. Everyone became like way too obsessed with Baby Yoda, and I love Grogu. Don't get me wrong, everything I have is like Baby Yoda and it's green, and like that's my obsession. But I think that the Grogu hype became like really crazy, and it turned it into like almost too whimsical for.
Yeah, I really think because I say this on my show a lot. I was a fan of Grogu when Grogu first got introduced. I was like, I already said it. He was going to be the first Mandalorian Jedi, like just like Tar Vizsla, just like the Vizslas. But as the episodes went on, I wanted Grogu to be badass, you know, and we never got that. You know, he's cute and everything, like jumping around, like hee hee hoo hoo ha.
Yeah, but it just became like so unbelievable, and I was like, okay. So yeah, it made me a little frustrated. Will I still watch it and love it? Yes, but it turned into something that I think became too marketable and like weird, and not actually the story of like this bounty hunter story. This is slightly tangential too, but have you ever watched the show Supernatural?
Yes, I watched only a couple episodes of it.
Okay, so pretty much at the beginning, each episode of Supernatural was like a mission that these brothers would solve this like supernatural issue or a monster or whatever, and it was like there was a story that followed all of it and like a backstory of their lives that they were like leading up to, but like each episode was individual, like a different kind of story, right? And it was really cool. Then when they got to later seasons, everything just turned into like this random giant weird journey where like everything was connected. And I think that's what happened to Mandalorian very much so, is at the beginning is like each episode felt like a specific mission happening, and then by the later seasons turned into something that was like this giant situation that like everything came together, and it almost felt like there was a lot of filler happening instead of like interesting episodes each time. It became like filler and then a finale.
Yeah, I think when I saw this, I wanted to like just turn the camera off, don't do my reaction. When Lizzo and Jack Black got on my screen, you know, that meant nothing to the story. Like, it meant absolutely nothing. Like, I don't know if it was fan service because Lizzo's a great singer and Jack Black's a great actor, you know, or to see Christopher Lloyd again on screen. You know, it was good to see Christopher Lloyd, of course, you know, a Separatist. You know, they haven't been around for years. But that was when I really realized, like, what are we doing here? And how Mandalorian just left off, like, Grogu and Mando just chilling on a nice house. They got a little house, a little cottage. And, like, what are we doing for the movie? You know, that's the bigger question now. You know, they're not going to have a season 4. They're not going to have that. Season 4 is going to be like the movie.
Yeah. Well, I think my thing on that is that I love Lizzo and Jack Black separately and whatever. Like, honestly, I love Jack Black. Like, I love him. I was so like, I'd be happy to see him in anything. But with that, it was very much like, why Star Wars is like its own universe. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a fictional universe. Why are we having a real life celebrity cameo in a fictional universe? Like, if you were to put them in, make them look nothing like themselves. You know what I'm saying? Make it extremely obvious that they are not Jack Black and Lizzo. Like, they can be in it and be part of Star Wars. And like, Lizzo even talked about how like she'd been watching Star Wars with her family since she was younger, and it was really special to her and all this stuff. Like, I'm happy that she got to be in the show. That's like a dream, especially if you're a Star Wars fan. That's great. But like, make them not look exactly like Lizzo and Jack Black and be in like a palace and have all this like CGI. Like, yeah, it just made it very non-believable, and it made it feel like, oh, look at this celebrity cameo in the middle of this show that is not about the real world. It's about a fake story. Yeah. I don't know. That's how I felt about that. So definitely that is where I was a little bit like
confused on. And then when she called Duchess, I was like, the only Duchess I know is my Satine from the Clone Wars. I was like, where's her? Where's her like monologue or something? Where's her mention? Like, she's not even mentioned in the show, and Bo-Katan is her sister. You know what I mean? So I don't know I don't know where they're going with the Mandalorian and the movie.
But I was gonna say, back to Andor. The question you asked me.
We just go right off track. It's okay.
But yeah, so with Andor, I loved the show because it felt very whole to me. I agree that the beginning was like James Bondy and it was like a bank heist. Was the first like 3 to 4 episodes extremely slow and very bank heisty, and I did not see where it was going at all, 100%. But But I think that it's one of those things that it's totally worth the wait. Like, I've told so many people, just get through the part that's a little bit difficult to watch through, or you feel like you can't get into the show, and get past that, and like, you'll love it, because by the end of it, like that post-credit scene, my mind was, I wish I could go back and rewatch the whole show just to see that for the first time ever again, because it like changed my life.
Now, I haven't seen I don't know what post-credit scene you're talking about.
Are you serious?
I have not. Endor I've watched, but I stopped watching.
Oh, wow. Okay. So the first like 3 to 4 episodes, it's like something you have to like trust the process and get into it. Then once you watch the end of it, by the end of the series, you're like, oh my gosh. And then there's a post-credit scene that like you will never expect it / makes so much sense with Rogue One / like blows your mind.
Wow. So that post-credit scene happens at the end of the season.
At the end of the whole show, yeah.
Okay, because I only watched up to episode 10.
Yeah, no, you have to stick it out for that. And I also think that Andor showed an aspect of Star Wars that we've never seen before, because we've seen like the Jedi and the Sith and the lightsabers and the Force and all of this stuff that's very like sci-fi, but we've never seen, like, you talk about this is like Star Wars, like this is about governments and about politics, like a lot of it, you know what I'm saying? And so you've never really seen, how do the civilians live in this whole government system that we've been set up to watch? You know what I'm saying? Like, we've seen all the heroes and all the big cheeses in the whole entire system, but like, what happens to the civilians that live on these random planets, and like, what does their life look like? So I think we got to see that way more in Andor, and like how the common people live in Star Wars and how they're affected by the government.
Yeah, because in reality, we really never saw that.
Yeah.
You know, we saw how corrupt the Jedi were with Palpatine under their noses, but that's all we really saw. We really didn't get a point of view of what the civilians go through. You know, what regular people go to work every day and put on their outfits in Star Wars and they just go to work. We really didn't get that. We get that in Endor.
Yeah.
And I think for some people that didn't like Endor, like, I'm not a big fan of Endor. Like, I think you have to take it with a grain of salt, you know, Endor, because it's new to everybody. That's a show that we know what happens. We get Rogue One. We see Cassian and Jane die. You know, that planet blows up. You know, we see that happen. But I think with the Endor, it's very slow. Like you said, it is very slow. And I think some episodes in there can be taken out. You know, some of them, I think the last thing I saw was when they had to, it was like a bridge with all the, like, and the moon and stuff like that. The moon, the moon people, you know, something like that. I think that was the last time I saw it. And I was like, what am I watching? You know, like, I don't get what we're doing here. I get there's a heist going on. I get we need evidence or something. But I'm like, what is going on? You know?
I think they were trying to show too many different things that you usually don't see in like a Star Wars show. But I also think it gave like cool aspects that we haven't seen, that maybe that's like a positive as well. But definitely was a very different concept than like any other show that we've seen. But I thought it was really, really cool, and I'm excited for the new season, but I don't honestly know at all what to expect.
Because we're gonna jump years.
Yeah, because so much time over this next season, so I have no idea.
And they finished wrapping, they're done, you know, so we just gotta get ready. I think it's 2025 it comes out, I think.
So just drop it already, guys.
Yeah, just drop it at this point. So my next question to you, Maddie, is, so Rogue One has to be your favorite movie.
No.
Oh, no.
No.
So what are your top 3 favorite Star Wars movies?
Okay. I think Empire Strikes Back, then Revenge of the Sith, and then I don't really have like a third favorite one. I think I like all of them. Honestly, like sequels, prequels, everything, like all of that's kind of on the same level of interest for me, but I think I can confidently say like Empire Strikes Back and then Revenge of the Sith are like my 2 top favorites.
Now, what I love Revenge of the Sith, that's my favorite movie. I can watch it and like be like, put the pieces together, because like I said, Ahsoka Tano is my favorite Jedi.
Yeah.
And I put, like, when they came out with Tales of the Jedi, I was like, she was in Revenge of the Sith. She was in Revenge of the Sith because she was at Padme's funeral. So I'm like, Okay, now I look for that. I go, okay, so right now Ahsoka is on the seas of Mandalore. Like she's doing that. She's
Mhm.
kicking Maul's ass. And then when we cut to Padme's funeral, I'm like, okay, that's done. You know, I said, okay, and then Obi-Wan and Anakin are still fighting each other on Mustafar.
Yeah.
And, like I try to put the pieces together, and I'm like, okay, you can make a movie. Like
Yeah.
if you can actually, if they release a Siege of Mandalore movie, like a Clone Wars movie, animation
Mhm.
movie, it will go right together. You
Yeah.
know, you just have to just add the pieces in, of course.
Mhm.
But you could just do that.
Yeah.
But Empire Strikes Back, why do you like it so much?
I like the nostalgia, honestly. And I like that it's something that like I can enjoy with my dad, especially. But I love the nostalgia of it, and I like that you get a lot of like really cool, classic kind of like Vader like scenes and things like that.
Oh, okay. Now I'm going to ask you a tough question now.
Okay.
Because I'm biased on this question. You can't ask me because I feel like if you watch my show, you'll know like I'm that. So live action or animation? Which one would you pick? I would pick animation, so I'm just gonna say that. Well, which one would you pick to have if you had to go in, if you had to make a series, and you were like, okay, we're gonna make a series about me, Star Wars related content and everything. Would you make it live action? Show everything in live action, or would you make it animation? What is your favorite? I could say.
Live action. I love. Yeah, I love. I mean, because I love live action. Like the movies and like the live action shows have been really great. Obviously, there's like really great animation that they've done. But personally, I think more of my characters that I'm interested in and things like that are live action. Yeah.
Oh, so you pick live action. See, I don't think we can be friends now, Maddie.
Well, someone has to give the ratings to both of them, so.
Yeah, someone has to. Yeah, you're right. You're right. So now we're gonna play a game.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna say a name. It's gonna be an animation or live action, and you're just gonna give me a word that describes them. Okay. So just like Scevoli Tano, happy, or like Maddie, cool, or something like that. Okay. And then you can tell me if you want to tell me why you picked that. I might ask you like, girl, why did you pick that name?
Okay.
And then that's it.
If it's a character that like I don't remember or like I don't know or it like goes over my head, just.
All right, we'll just go next. We'll just hit next.
Okay.
We're gonna go with your favorite character, Vader.
Classic.
Crosshair.
Stylish.
Luke.
Surprising.
Oh. Pedro Pascal.
Hot.
I thought you were gonna say Daddy. I thought you were gonna say that. That's why I said I was like, I want to see if she'll say that.
Hot. Yeah.
Because everybody loves Pedro Pascal. He's everybody's daddy. Like he is.
I love him. He's such a fun, cute man.
He is. He's adorable. He's an adorable man. Let's do Hera.
Unfamiliar.
Oh. Now, why do you say unfamiliar?
Because I'm not super familiar with the character. Like, obviously, I've seen in the shows and things like that, but I'm not super in touch.
Okay.
I mean,
I get it.
Yeah.
I get that. She's my space mom. I feel like in Rebels, we got more of her story. You know, we got more like of her because she's my space mom. I love her.
I'm like green.
Yeah, like green, you could say.
Yeah. No, but I think that her character design is like super cool. And I like seeing her in the Ahsoka show and things like that. I just haven't watched a ton of Rebels. Like I have, but it's like not a lot that's stuck for me. So I think that maybe like people who've watched way more Rebels and things like that have like more of like a connection with the character.
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Makes sense.
Obi-Wan.
Brave.
Oh. All right, two more. Leia.
Iconic.
Yeah, definitely. Anakin.
Scary.
No, why is he scary?
I think maybe like the way he just became like so purely evil at some points. And you see some like flashes of like some really like dark parts of him is really interesting to me.
Yeah, 'cause I feel like Vader, excuse me, Anakin. I feel like I always say this: Anakin and Vader are two different people.
Yeah,
You know,
100%.
yeah, I feel like they are like you see Anakin in the Clone Wars. I don't know if you watched. Have you watched the Clone Wars?
Mhm.
Like you see his story with Ahsoka. You know, it's beautiful. It's like so sister and brother touching.
Yeah.
And him being the general that he was supposed to be. You know, we don't really see that much of Vader in him.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes we do, but not all of it. So to me, like with Vader getting turned to the dark side, it wasn't about him being evil. It was about the manipulation. You know, the trust was not there with the Jedi. You know, the abandonment. Like Obi-Wan always said, like he was never going to teach Anakin. You know, he was never going to be that father figure that Qui-Gon Jinn was. You know, I feel like to this day, I still don't understand why he turned to Vader. Like people would have to, like George Lucas would have to come to me and like sit down and tell me that, and I still will not believe what he's saying. You know what I mean? Like I would still believe what I always believed of Anakin and Vader and stuff like that. It was manipulation. It was not trusting. It was obsessive, kind of like it felt like an obsessive with like Padme and everything. Like you could have just really just took her out to eat dinner. You know,
I almost see Anakin turning to the dark side as scarier than Vader himself. Like
in the Ahsoka?
Or just like in any media. I think that like different glimpses we get of Anakin going to the dark side and like him even in like the sequel or the prequels like becoming like more evil, I guess. That is like scarier to me or like more dangerous, whatever, than like Vader just being Vader in the other movies.
Yeah, because Vader wasn't 100%. He was like, we could say he was without his legs 70 or 80% of what he could have been. You know, we see the Ahsoka show and we get that action. We see him with the red eyes. That is the Vader that everybody wanted. That is the Vader that would have never, I don't think, died. Like I don't think even Luke could have beat Vader in the show Ahsoka, when that scene happens, you see that. He's very powerful.
Yeah. And you don't see many moments of like weakness in that situation. Whereas like Vader, you see a lot of moments of weakness and like apprehension, whereas that you just see him being like cold-blooded kind of.
Yeah, and I always said this on my show too, that Ahsoka would be the one that would turn him back. And she did. Originally, she did. In the show, I told you people, my predictions always come true. But that would be always, Obi-Wan could never turn Anakin back to the light side. I think if Ahsoka was at that temple, and I think when Execute Order 66 was executed, I think Ahsoka would have changed that. I really think to this day, I believe in that thing where he would see her and it would be like a what if kind of moment. I feel like if they make a what if show, which there has been rumors out there, that what if, that would be one of the what ifs I would turn into. Like I would be sitting right there on my television screen and seeing what would happen in that moment. Because I have a what if series on my show too. That episode is out, and I feel like it's beautiful. I feel like you get the moments where it's scary. You get the moments where it's okay. The light comes to the light. You could see it, but does he make that decision where he turns to Ahsoka and says, "I will not be Darth Vader," or "I will be Darth Vader"? You know, I really feel like that would be the breaking point with Anakin. I feel like that if Ahsoka was there at the temple, I think a lot of things would be different in Star Wars.
Yeah, I also think that a cool what if concept would be if Kylo Ren and Rey had like been together, or like if that had come to fruition in any way.
Yeah, I think Kylo Ren and Rey. I know you said you're a good fan of the sequels. A lot of people aren't fans of sequels.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, I'm not a fan of the sequels. Actually,
Mhm.
I think the stories were not that good. It's not the characters' fault. It's not Rey's. It's not Daisy's. It's not
Mhm.
whoever played Kylo. I forget his name.
Adam Driver, yeah.
Oh, Adam Driver, right? Adam Driver.
Mhm.
Yeah. Um, I think they're characters that are misunderstood, and their stories weren't planned out to be something like, just like Finn's. You know, Finn was supposed to become this Jedi or
Mhm.
force sensitive, and we never got that. We were
Yeah.
disappointed. People were disappointed. But what is your take on the sequels?
I agree with some storyline things, that there's like some weird things, there's plot holes, there's things that maybe we didn't get that we wanted to get. I think a lot of the characters are really cool. I think there are some characters that are really odd or like confusing or didn't need to maybe be there. But I definitely think for the most part, a lot of what we got from the sequels was like really cool cinematography and really cool like scenes of interesting new things in Star Wars that we hadn't seen before, or like really beautiful scenes that I think are really nice, just because it was like an advancement in technology to make a cooler looking movie. But yeah, I mean, I think that I do like some of like the key characters though in the movies. I do think that the stories were a little bit.
Now, in the sequels, who is your favorite character in the sequels? Kylo?
Yeah, I think Kylo Ren. I mean, I honestly love Rey as like a concept. I think there's some things with her character like that are a little bit weird. I don't know if I'm on board with the whole Rey Skywalker thing or not.
I was just gonna ask you that. What's
Yeah,
your
I mean, I think it'd be cooler if she was a Palpatine, like for real, and there was maybe that more fleshed out. But also, I love like evil things and like scary things, so I'm always gonna want like the dark thing to happen, so you can be like, oh my god. But yeah.
Now, the movies that are coming out, which movie are you most excited to see?
Okay, so the movies that are coming out are the Mandalorian movie, the possible like Tales of the Jedi movie.
No, that's a show.
No,
The show.
I mean not that. Sorry. What was the other one? Was it like it was something about like a background about like where the Jedi came from?
Oh,
I mean,
I know the first ever Jedi.
yeah, something like that, like the ancient Jedi or whatever that is. Yeah, so not Tales, but like the history or something. So it's like the Mandalorian, possibly that one, and then what are the other?
The Rey movie and the Dave Filoni movie.
Okay. I don't know what to expect from the Dave Filoni movie, to be honest with you. Is that one like the Endgame movie?
I feel like it's gonna be like an Endgame. I feel like it's gonna be Ahsoka versus Thrawn. Luke and everybody else are gonna be versing Thrawn.
Yeah.
I think Thrawn is the biggest villain in Star Wars right now. He's like who is that guy in Marvel? Thanos. He's like the Thanos of Star Wars right now. So I think that's what the movie's gonna be. It's gonna be like a heir to the Empire kind of stuff.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
I'm not too sure though. Don't quote me on that. Though.
Yeah, I don't know the most about what's gonna happen with that. I'm not sure what I think about that happening. The Mandalorian movie. I think the movie will be good. I just think that it's a bad move because you made a whole show, and then for people to watch the ending of this whole show, they have to go to a movie theater. But it's only people who've had Disney Plus and have been able to fully watch the show will go to the movie theater to see this. Unless they make it somehow be standalone enough that if you went to it and you didn't have any background of the previous 3 seasons, that you could watch the movie and be like, oh, I totally get this. So I think it's a bad like move from actual Star Wars, but do I think I'll enjoy the movie as a person who's informed? Yes. I think that the movie about like the background of the Jedi or whatever, I think that's really cool. I think that we've been kind of waiting to get some sort of like historical movie going on. So I think that, or like the origins of the Jedi or whatever it is, I think that'll be really cool. Do I want that for like maybe the Sith and maybe a show or a movie or whatever? That'd be awesome too. And then with the Rey movie, I have no idea what to expect because I kind of feel like the story is done.
Because that's Rey's movie is about doing the new Jedi Order. 25 years, though. 25 years after The Rise of Skywalker. Not the first 5 years, not the first year, the first 25.
Yeah. So I feel like that those movies were like a 3-movie chunk, like all the different movies have been. So I feel like adding one more, I don't know how I feel about it.
Mm-hmm. Now, what do you think of The Acolyte?
That is super interesting to me, and I don't fully understand what it is supposed to be about. But this trailer looked really, really, really cool.
It did. The Acolyte trailer did look. So The Acolyte is about the High Republic era.
Okay.
You know, so if you haven't read the comics, you haven't read any shows, you're going in blind, which is okay. You know.
Yeah.
You know, did I read the comics? I read some comics. Like I can tell you who's probably not in it. But probably like if you read the comics, it's different because you're not going to get the same Jedi in the comics and the books that I know of right now. That the books are out now, and we don't know. Like the only Jedi that's going to be in it is her name, the Purple Girl. I don't know if you've seen her, and I don't know. She starts with a V, and her lightsaber is purple, and it's a whip. Her lightsaber is a whip.
Okay. Yeah, I know about like the concept of it and things like that. I just don't know like what this actual show is supposed to be, what they're gonna do with it. Like I don't know what story is gonna be told or like what type of story. I just know kind of like the base.
I think the story, they said the fall of the Jedi. So this is the Sith trying to take over, and then the rule of 2 coming involved. Okay. And I think it's going to show all that. I think. I'm not too sure.
I love all the Sith stuff, so if it has any of that, I'll be happy.
You'll be there. You'll be watching.
I'm going to watch anything Star Wars media anyway, if I know what's going on or not, because I have to make sure I can explain it to my dad when he watches it and calls all the characters the wrong names. So,
Dad, that's not the right name.
Yeah.
How could you get Phil wrong? His name is Phil. You're naming him Chad. I don't get it, Dad. I feel that. So my final question to you is, if you were making a show, any show of any character, what is your dream? Now, what you want Lucasfilm to make and Star Wars to make? What is your dream Star Wars project? It can be animation or it can be live action.
I think it would be live action, and I think it will be something associated with the Cantina and with like Max Rebo, and maybe it would even be like just like a lighthearted like short series, maybe just giving like more background to like I don't know, like fun little like Easter eggs that we see throughout different movies, but like things that happen in the Cantina and like the little Max Rebo band and everything. I think that would just be like a fun project that would bring a lot of like nostalgia.
So that would be your dream Star Wars project.
Yeah, I think it'd be so fun.
It'd be like an hour just Max Rebo just hitting the drums or something.
Yeah, exactly. Or just like bar scenes and bar fights at the Cantina, and then like background to like all these different like aliens and species that are there or something like that. Like just something fun.
And you see Maddie drinking her mimosas and dancing.
Yeah, like, yeah, I know. I'll have my Oga's Cantina cocktails in the background.
But Maddie, thank you so much for coming on the Scevoli Tonight Show. I really appreciate your time. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us. But before we go, where can everybody find you on the social medias?
Yeah, so my TikTok and my Instagram are at the.Madilorian. And that's pretty much everywhere I post. I post a few YouTube shorts, but not really. So Instagram and TikTok at the.Madilorian is where you can find me. And in my bios there, I have links to like other things I have going on. But yeah, so thank you so much for having me on. I had so much fun chit-chatting.
Anytime, Maddie. You're always welcome on the Scevoli Tonight Show. Always.
Thank you.
Always. But thank you, Maddie, for joining me on the Scevoli Tonight Show. Guys, be sure to check her out. I will put all the links of her in the bio when this episode is out. But thank you for joining us. Make sure you guys subscribe down below to the YouTube channel, The Scevoli Tano Show, for more awesomeness. Be kind to one another, guys. May the Force be with you, my friend. Always. Bye!
In my life, when you find people who need your help, you help them, no matter what.